Good afternoon, everyone. It's not afternoon yet. We still have 28 minutes. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for attending this session today, as you will learn more about the U.S. Black Chambers by Black Initiative certification program. I would love to introduce to you all to the chair of the board of the U.S. Now I'm unmuted. We all know him as the president of TAC. We also know him as the former president of the Dallas Black Chamber, but he's continuing in this work as being an advocate, as head advocate for Black businesses in the country, as chair of the board of the U.S. Black Chambers, Inc., Mr. Charles O'Neill, to give us our introduction for our workshop.
All right. Good morning, Matt, and thanks so much for that introduction. You know that certification has become kind of a sticky point in the process as we grow, develop our businesses. You know, minority certification, the state of Texas has what it calls its historically underutilized business program. If you're working in or around North Texas, here in the Dallas area, you've seen the Regional Certification Agency, Minority Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council has their own certification, and the process is without regard to the market you're working in. There are various certifications: small business entity, SBE, disadvantaged business entity, all of this alphabet soup of things. Whatever the kind of certification you might have pursued in the past, one of the things that we know is that it has not always worked to the benefit of Black-owned businesses. When folks say that they're hitting their minority certification goals for procurement opportunities, oftentimes those goals are being met with white women, with here in Texas, with Hispanic-owned businesses. Again, there's just a whole array of aggrieved classes, if you will. But nonetheless, Black-owned businesses continue to suffer the disparities that predominate in the marketplace. So the U.S. Black Chambers has come up with a plan to create an exclusive Black certification. When corporations say that they're not able to find business owners, that's a problem. Where do you go to find them? Clearly, Chambers of Commerce are first line of assistance in that effort. And so the U.S. Black Chamber has developed what it calls the Buy Black platform. The Buy Black platform, supported on the national scale by American Express and led by a young man that you'll hear from later today, Ron Busby Jr., to kind of crystallize the things that we're going to see in a couple of videos that we're going to run regarding the Buy Black process. The first is an overall description of the Buy Black, the need for an exclusive Black certification process. And so this first video that you'll see, about 10 minutes, will give an overview of the certification process. The second video that you'll see is actually a detailed explanation of the process of onboarding your business onto the Buy Black platform. We're excited about this deal because it really will manifest itself in this way. The corporations that we work with to expand opportunities on the national level have all agreed that they will accept this very exclusive, unique to Black Chamber members, Buy Black certification as on a par with a hub or MBE or DBE certification. So we're really excited about this. Take the time to internalize the messages that you'll see in these videos. And then when we come back at the end of the second video, by that time, Ron Busby Jr. will be on with us, and he will take your questions about how you can get your business certified through the U.S. Black Chambers Buy Black platform. Thanks again. Look forward to talking with you at the end of these 2 videos. Thank you, Matt.
Hi, I'm Ron Busby, and I'm one of the co-founders of Buy Black. We are a tool powered by the US Black Chambers and presented by American Express. I'm excited to be able to tell you a little bit more about the work that we do with our corporate partners, but also with our entrepreneurs and communities through chambers of commerce locally every day here in the country. So if you're excited and ready to go, we can go ahead and start this up. We can really fit these things into 2 elements when we talk about Buy Black. One is our promise, and the other is our solution. When we think about working with US Black Chambers and American Express, we wanted to really break down 2 or 4 elements that really mattered most. Onboarding of business information to a database that's indexable and valuable to the everyday consumer and the everyday corporate partner, certifying businesses' information, and being able to meet certain criteria and stand behind the businesses that come into the platform based on a rigorous set of data points and research to ensure that the people that are who they say they are represent the qualities and capabilities of the businesses that we want to have on a directory and a solution like this. The third, connecting the diverse universe of Black business. What we really recognized as we were developing and starting this solution was that Black businesses aren't just one size fits all. We've got multi-million-dollar corporations. We've also got mom and pop shops that are working every day just to make ends meet. We wanted to be able to figure out a way that we could build a tool that both spoke to the individuality, but also the standard issues that we often see in the Black community through a tool that really did have our communities built first and with our community built in mind. And then fourth, developing a platform to grow supplier diversity, spend and contract opportunities for Black businesses in our communities. We really believe that in order to grow the Black economic agenda, we need to be able to work with companies out there in the ether to be able to figure out ways that they can diversify their supply chains and hopefully be able to find ways that are meaningful for them to be able to find new companies and partners that they would have never known if not for Buy Black existing. We do that through different events, but also through targeted engagements with business owners and with corporate partners that hopefully allows them to meet new partners and new organizations that they can hopefully build and develop with. When we think about starting the onboarding process and the ability to do that today, for our business owners, when we have these conversations, what's really great is that this is something that we can activate immediately. We have tools that we are building now. We've got tools that we are looking to launch in the next year and years coming forward. But when we think about that, what's really great is that for any business, whether they're a majority Black-owned business or just one member of a larger corporation or organization that has maybe 5 other business owners, starting and onboarding your business as a Black-owned business and Buy Black is really pretty easy. We ask for some basic and general business information, and you can do this and we'll vet that information sometimes in a day, but up to 2 weeks it'll take us to review the information you provided, things like your website, things like your address, social media, small elements about like what your business does and what areas it's you actually service, whether that's in California or New York. And then while you're doing that, you can actually get certified. So I want to really clarify the difference between certification and onboarding. Certification is a rigorous process that has and requires a lot of due diligence. We check things like EIN, articles of organization. We have a very diligent process around an interview that a business owner will take to really assess and know that they know what their business is and how it works. The onboarding process to be on Buy Black is a little bit more light. The touch is a little bit lighter. We ask that the business operates, that we can see that it demonstrates a degree of independence and capability of being able to take customers from Buy Black and go on and engage with them. But specifically for onboarding any Black-owned business, whether you're majority owned or partially owned, minority-owned Black business, can get onboarded to Buy Black. But not every business can be certified, and I think that's what I'm really excited to talk about next. We talk about certification. This is for businesses that are 51% Black-owned. And we really are excited about being able to provide a certification that really works at scale. We're using best-in-class technologies to think about ways to identify and certify businesses quickly and scalably. When I think about that, that means that we're using smarter ways to identify people and match them to the documents that they're providing. We are removing some of the manual processes that often come with submitting redundant documents or providing documents that are unnecessary to truly understanding the business and the business owner. We think about the idea of proof of ownership, proof of identity, and proof of control. And as long as we can understand confidently those things, we're able to take all of those and holistically understand what a business owner is and or what a business owner does and where they operate and what they do best. As well, I want to say what's really great about this is they can do this from their own home. If we look at previous experiences with site visits, people had to go to their offices or had to take months to get certified. We've really tried to speed up that process and really be sympathetic and authentic to the way that the Black community and the Black business community works and has a flexible dynamic around where they operate and where they do business. When we want to get a little bit more deep around what it means for a business owner to have certain information and what we require to confidently assess a business owner, not all of these documents are required for every business owner, but for certain business owners, these are the broad types of information that we will actually be pulling in, reading, assessing, and vetting against Secretary of State's documents. We will work with we'll do background checks on business owners to make sure that they are who they say they are and that things match up, using their licenses to ensure that that person is truly who they say they are and actually is on the documents that have been registered and provided with their state or have been filed with the federal government. And so we really do have three areas and buckets of information. That proof of ownership, you can see we require certain tax documents or certain EINs or copies of stock certificates. Proof of control and operation, you might see something like profit sharing agreements or board minutes. And proof of identity could be birth certificates, passports, a green card, or referrals from other Black-owned businesses that all help us get a better sense of who's in the community and who really does deserve to be certified. And I think what's really great thing of the day is, in the past, this has been something that has cost hundreds and sometimes thousands of dollars to get certified. We are offering this for free, and we're offering a faster and more seamless way of being able to engage and dive deeper into a business owner and provide them tools and hopefully opportunities that really grow their business. And what we really wanted to do beyond that is just make sure that there was no excuse that you couldn't get certified. If we believe that certifications are valuable tools to growing a Black-owned business, that we don't want to put any barriers to that. And so I think that's what is really revolutionary and powerful about our promise and what our solution is hopefully offering. The elements around that affinity documents to really understand, hey, but what does it mean to be a Black person? What does it mean to be a Black-owned business? We offer other opportunities to provide a little bit more detail and insight into what it means for you as a Black person in the United States, and with some of the elements of history and genealogy as well. So you'll see elements of being able to provide a diploma from an HBCU or family trees. All of those things are ways that we can better assess that, how race is a part of your daily life or how race plays into you as a Black business owner. And so I think that's something that we're really proud of, being able to be comprehensive and not just ask you to provide us one specific silver bullet, because we recognize that Blackness takes place and is realized through a number of different avenues that we want to be encompassing of. And in terms of, I think we talked about those four different elements, right? Connecting that diverse universe. We really think there's something powerful about being able to say, this isn't just a directory to find a Black person or a Black business or a Black contractor. We really want to be able to connect folks that do business to business, business to consumer, and business to government. It's not enough for you or I to find a hair salon or a restaurant. It's really about being able to find that next corporate partner that you might want to launch a product with, or that builds the widget for your airplane. And we want to be able to think about ways that every Black-owned business can participate in different parts of the larger economy. And that starts by expanding the opportunities and the visibility for those Black-owned businesses. what is really great, as I said, is that we are doing things today and we are doing things for tomorrow. In terms of what can happen today, Black-owned businesses are getting certified every day on Buy Black, and that's something that we take a lot of pride in. But beyond that as well, Black-owned businesses can learn about the things that we're doing with the US Black Chambers and American Express to empower and grow the opportunities for entrepreneurs every day through the tools that we are currently supporting and the tools that we hope to launch with our corporate partners and with members of our community and chambers. So, you're welcome to scan and see a little bit more about what we're doing on Buy Black, which are also welcome to check out that URL and see the work that we are doing through the US Black Chambers and with local chambers every day through Buy Black. And so I just want to say thank you so much and hope to see you for the rest of the presentation.
It's on you, Mr. O'Neill.
Okay, Matt, I was trying to see if there were questions in the chat about what we've heard so far. Again, I think the overview that Ron provided is kind of comprehensive, broad view, but we will in this next video walk you through the steps that you can take. And one of the things that's really amazing about this deal is Tyrus kind of talked about it in the earlier workshop about the roles that technologies begin to play, or the presence of technology. So the onboarding process, you're using facial recognition, you're able to upload your documents into cyberspace, get an instant response on your certification application. You can save it, come back to it. But I think when you see the second video, you'll see the kind of and the quality of work that has gone into making this a seamless process for certification, much, much different than the onerous, sometimes certification process for local agencies. And so, again, we're trying as best we can to create one-step, one-stop kind of solutions that ease Black businesses access to markets. And so, again, when you see the second video, take detailed notes on it. Ron Jr. will be on with us at approximately about 10 minutes, about the time the second video finishes, and we'll be able to get questions directly to him and the team that he's put together to create this platform. So take care. We'll see you at the end of this video that's getting ready to run now. Thank you.
And let's take a moment to look a little bit more about certification and see all the opportunities and benefits that come with taking time to add some very important and particular information about your business and yourself as that Black business owner. So we ask for a few things, but based on which one applies best to you. But what you want to ultimately do here is apply for your certification starting now. And as you see, we've got our site. You can learn a little bit more about the things that we do here and the value prop that we're trying to provide, some of the information that we have, and some testimonials from business owners and users as well. So what you want to do is ultimately join and be able to start adding in your information. And so now that we've actually signed in to the certification, we want to just make sure that you have some acclimation to a few of the elements that you'll be using to make sure that you go through this application. In terms of, if you need to ever stop, you can always take a break and log back out and log back in, and it'll take you back to exactly the page that you ended at. In terms of, are you a Black business owner, we want to make sure that you have more than 50% or 51% ownership as a Black business owner, and that's a prerequisite for this. So this survey sort of helps us understand where you fit and if you're qualified to go forward. Hopefully the answer is yes here. Do you have minority business certification? If you did, that would also be great, but it's not necessary to have that information. It just helps us be able to augment your application and know a little bit more about you, and hopefully pass that information on to potential business opportunities as well. Are you a member of Black Chamber of Commerce is really great for us, because then we can actually connect you to your local chamber, make sure that we work with them to speed up your application when it makes sense, and be able to vet certain things about your application if we have any questions, and make sure that as a member, we give you the right kinds of attention and priority because of our relationship with the U.S. Black Chambers and our relationship through local chambers to you. So we'll say no here because it's not a required piece of this, but it is always helpful when you have that. How would you classify your business? So this is very particular to the legal structure with which your business operates. So S Corp, C Corp, LLC, single member or multi-member. But based on how you file and how you are operating as an organization, this is a really important facet of what information we're going to require or need from you. So I'm going to pick LLC, single member, just because that's something that is a little bit shorter in the application process and doesn't necessarily require as much information, but we'll go ahead and get started. So here are the things that we would require from you if you were an LLC single member. We give you some pretty clear information. If you were a multi-member or a C Corp, you'd get different documents that we would require, but this is what we're looking for from you, or from me, I guess, in this situation. So if I have all these documents, I should be ready to go. And if not, I can always come back later and return in and get this stuff done at another point in time with no pressure. Yes, so as we get started, we want to make sure that we always provide you a little bit of context of what we're doing and I hope some of our goals. If you have any issues, you're welcome to email us at support@buyblack.us or certification at usblackchambers.org. Either one of them, we will try to be responsive and make sure that we understand what's going on with you and how we can hopefully move your application forward. In terms of some information about your business, we'll ask for things like your DBA or how you're legally registered. That'll help us make sure that we match that up against what we find from a Secretary of State's office. We will ask for the primary address of your business. So you can help us understand, hey, is this where the business usually sells products, or is this where you're legally registered? All that stuff is really important for us to understand and get context for. In terms of providing a phone number, this helps us contact you if we need to actually make sure that you're at that business location, or if we have any questions about your business, it helps us actually be able to reach out and get context for you. If you have a website, not every business does, you can provide it here, but in this instance, we'll go ahead and skip it. But obviously, you know you're already on certification.buyblack.us. The business information, so we try to break these pieces up into business information, ownership information, control information, identity, and then a small interview, as well as a signed affidavit at the end. So we'll talk a little bit about each one of those sections as we go through. Ownership, so as you can see, we will actually ask for you to include the ownership structure. So in this situation, that's me, Ron Busby. I am a 51% owner of this business in this situation. And Alicia Gay may also own another 49% of this business and be a minority owner in that situation. And so we ask for the race and ethnicity of the business owner, as you see. So maybe in the situation, Alicia wasn't the Black business owner, we'd be able to get more context there. As well, you'll see that we ask for your category or your NAICS codes. So maybe you don't know what your NAICS codes are, and you know that you are more of a hair salon or something of that sort. You know, we might say hairstylist services for men or something of the sort. You could actually pick what that option was based on the actual name, which would also look it up by the number. And so in the situation where you were doing something like hatcheries or poultry, you could actually look up directly what that list of options would be from the number as well from the NAICS codes. And in this situation, maybe blackberry farming is what you do. And so as well, we ask for a small description, so you can be as lengthy as you'd like, but as well, you can also include a capabilities document on your business so that we are able to understand what you are able to do, what you're capable of doing as we think about connecting you to potential partners and potentially even using you with local chambers or at Buy Black ourselves. In terms of, are you a member of the US Black Chamber? That's something we want to make sure we get context for. So you might say yes or no in this situation, it's okay. And so we'll go ahead and skip this. Proof of control. This is that next section where we ask for things like an EIN. So put in a fake one here, but we would like you to include your actual one. We'll check that as well. Then we will ask for those documents we talked about. So in this situation, we'll ask for the resume of the owner or the LinkedIn URL, whichever one is fine. The articles of organization, business license, operating agreement, and then a tax form particular to how you filed as a business owner. Proof of identity. So we offer a number of different ways that you can potentially add more information about yourself or your identity as a Black person in this country. This is not a mandatory step, but it is something that augments and can complement your application. And it helps us remove some questions and potentially move faster as we have our team of experts look over and review the information you're providing, especially when we're talking about something as sensitive as your identity as a Black person. So as well, the final step is really actually including specifically a identity piece. So in this situation, we will provide you the ability to go ahead and do something like either add your license or add a passport or a green card based on what your immigration status might be in this country. You'll start your verification process, and we will actually be able to go through asking you to provide a selfie of yourself or a selfie, provide a front and back copy of your license or the front of your passport. And then we actually will check that against things that we have to make sure that you are who you say you are. And then when you actually applied in your application, be able to match that name up against the documents that are registered for the business itself. So I won't go ahead and do this process today or right now yet, but you will need to allow access to your camera and then prepare for the selfie video to go ahead and get started. And so you can also do this via your phone as well or on your desktop. And that's, I think, a really exciting part about this is that it hopefully works for you and your style and what you might have access to technologically. In terms of what is past this, you will need to provide we will have a short virtual site interview. Specifically with that, you will go through the process of answering some questions about your business, giving us insight that you truly do understand and know how your business operates and runs, and then providing us context for the location with which you're actually doing your interview through. So we ask you to bring your best self, to bring your most full version of yourself, to explain things as clearly and articulately as possible so that our reviewers can jot down some information, check that against what you provided, and make sure that when we are reviewing your application, we don't have as many questions because you provided as much color commentary through this rich medium of video to provide us details about who you are and how your business works. So after that, the last thing is simply just providing us a signed affidavit that you can do right here in the experience and submit your application. And we will actually take it from there. Our team will review, read, and diligently assess anything that's provided. And if we have any questions, we'll reach out to you directly to let you know about some follow-ups. But we really have seen some great experiences from folks. We're having folks apply and complete their applications every day. And so we really look forward to you all being a part of that story and that narrative.
Oh man, that was good. That was great. Matt, I think you mentioned that Ron was close to being able to join us.
I'm here, yes.
Hey, Ron, real quickly, good to see you, man. Ron Busby Jr. is a young, dynamic, energetic brother who is in the vanguard of leading this effort to create this platform with the assistance of Amex. I think it goes without saying he is the son of the president of U.S. Black Chambers, Ron Busby Sr., who you heard from earlier today. But in his own right, Ron has taken the lead on addressing this particular challenge that Black businesses face, the creation of an exclusive Black certification platform. Ron, they've watched both videos this morning and already got a litany of questions ready for you, already queued up. And so I'll let you take it from there. If you've seen some of the questions in the chat, the first one, of course, and I'll take it, send it to you after that. He mentioned that you needed a specific tax form. They're just starting their business, fairly new business, so they don't have those documents readily available. So just kind of walk them through the process again in your own words. And thanks so much for joining us today, too.
Of course, when Charles says that, come, I show up. So that's kind of how this works. Don't have a choice. But in terms of the questions, I only have the questions from when I joined. So by all means, feel free to if anyone has anything, we ask that question. On the piece around if you are a new business that has not filed yet, I'm going to ask, and maybe I can give a follow-up answer to this for, we have a partner of mine, a partner in crime, her name is Alicia Gay, and she does a lot of the review for these. And so she will have a little more context on that specific tax document piece and some of the logistics of those alternatives. I believe there are other things that you can provide that demonstrate your business is in existence, but a lot of what we are asking for there is to show who's getting paid, right? If you are a business, who's actually taking credit, who is financially gaining from this. And so those tax forms are really critical for us to actually be able to demonstrate and understand that the bottom line, who actually is benefiting financially from the work that's happening, and that you are a part of the business at a financial level, at a filing level. So I will have to follow up on that specific element, and we do have an answer. I just don't have that answer for you in the moment.
Hey, Ron, this is Stephanie. I'm Stephanie Herring. I'm the one that posed the question. So no one's getting paid right now. We just started our business. So right now we're just doing sweat equity. And so there's no one's getting paid. We're just putting in the work so that we can grow our business.
No, absolutely. And I think the ways that a business exists are multifold, right? So if we have things like your articles of incorporation, if you have filed with your state, if you
we have everything else. We have everything that you asked for, except for the taxes, because we haven't been in business for a year, and we're not paying anyone. We're putting our own monies into the companies.
Yeah, and I totally respect that, and I appreciate that. And I think that's exactly one of the big reasons why we felt like it was really important to be comprehensive around what certifications could offer. For some certifications, you've got to be in business for multiple years. You've got to show certain, proof of certain information, and we wanted to be thoughtful about that. And so I think your question is very right on, spot on, and I will just need a little bit of follow up that we definitely have some perspective around.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I saw another question in here. If a company is a member of a Black chamber, does this membership automatically enroll the company into USBC? So this is something that I feel like Charles and the folks from the Texas umbrella can speak to a lot better than I can. You're on mute, Charles. Yeah, just so you know.
I'd say real quickly, Texas chambers are members of TAC. Are members of USBC, and so you would actually need to, and you should have a membership for your business in USBC as well. It just makes sense. Clearly, the work is being done on your behalf. It's another one of those investments that are critical to the success of your business. So I would suggest that just like you joined your local chamber, you should join the USBC as well. Again, this is just one of the many programs that we work to make available to you to support the growth and development of your business.
If I can
go ahead.
I want to say as well, and I really want to affirm that I think that none of this really can happen without both of these sort of organizations existing, right? I lean on Charles for his perspective of how we should work in the Texas region, how we can offer opportunities to Black businesses in that local level. And then as well, Charles is able to leverage the relationships he has with US Black chambers to create something and work with us to develop something like a certification that works for all Black businesses. And so I think it's like, as I said, like you're investing in yourself, but obviously you're also investing in organizations that are investing in your community, both at a local and national level. So I'm all a fan of making sure you've got both.
Very good. Kind of what Ron, this is almost like a startup situation too, as well. Kind of walk us through some of the challenges that you've met and have worked to get to this point on creating this platform.
Absolutely. I think one of the things is getting people to buy into the idea. The idea of offering a solution, certification, a directory, a community to some degree for Black businesses and not charging them anything to take advantage of it, was kind of backwards. For a lot of people, it's how do we make money on Black businesses? How do we get them to pay for something for us? And for us to completely throw that out the window and say, how do we offer certifications for free? How do we enable people to be able to take advantage of tools, solutions at no cost to them? And how do we also think about buying Black at every level of the economic discussion? So, for example, we want to really be able to help folks that want to do enterprise level business. The NBA said that they're going to be using the Buy Black certification to help them do their procurement. The PGA uses the Buy Black certification to do some of their procurement for Black businesses for different events. American Express is looking to be able to use Buy Black's directory listings, thousands of businesses that we already work with and know of, but also businesses that obviously the folks of TAC also have relationships with, to be able to engage and have deeper relationships with Black-owned businesses. So that's at that corporate level, right? Companies want to be able to do business with other businesses. How does a consumer think about buying from Black-owned businesses? How do we make sure that you and I can go to a restaurant or a bakery and engage? How do we make sure that as well in the future, governments can also engage and find Black businesses that are meaningful to them? And so I think recognizing that it's never enough if I just solve the hair salon or barbershop or bakery problem of finding a Black business, but that we recognize that there are janitorial companies that want to clean stadiums, or that there are restaurants that want to be inside of stadiums, or that there are opportunities across the spectrum that are really diverse, and that we want to really be able to support all kinds of Black businesses, whether they're making widgets for airplanes or making cupcakes for your next birthday. We really want to be able to get everybody certified and remove the excuses for not being able to find Black businesses. Because the reality is, if we offer this for free for Black businesses, and all we ask is for you to give us a little bit of time and a little bit of your information, and we're saying to companies, we're asking for you to put up some of the funds to help certify these businesses and connect and have those deep engagements, that is something that we believe is really meaningful. I see a question, and I will just make it sort of general, but someone was asking about sort of like CPA hub certifications. So today I do not necessarily believe that this certification has been accepted by government agencies, but it does, and hopefully we will be developing and building the kind of rapport and reciprocity with those organizations, both at the local, national, but governmental level. Because we only launched in September, we've really gotten a lot of corporate sponsorship and backing. We have not necessarily gotten the full sort of government perspective and gotten their buy-in on our certification. That does not mean that it won't. It does not mean that it's not as good as. It's just something that comes with a little time and vetting.
And Ron, so you'll know, clearly we've had challenges in the state of Texas with the hub certification. We will be working with our legislators to try to get the reciprocity fast-paced or fast-tracked for USBC's Buy Black platform. We're working on that now. So we'll look to have a win in Texas for you pretty shortly.
There we go. So, and these are, I think that's exactly why it's really awesome to have really strong chambers of commerce that at that like very community level can have those engagements with legislators and government officials, and then you also see it at the national level as well, and that it works bi-directionally. So that's super humbling, and I appreciate getting that kind of a championship both ways.
And so kind of walk us through to part of the driving impetus behind this effort was, you addressed it briefly, the creation of this directory, this one-stop spot that we can go. And so clearly the certification is an appendage, if you will, an extension of that need. But we know that we get tons and tons and tons of inquiries about, well, what have you got? Who have you got? Where can we find them? Blah, blah, blah. So we know that the directory was central to the genesis of this program.
Yeah, and so I think what I'm super excited about is 2022, you'll see even more exciting ways that we will be displaying Black businesses. I think as well, we talk about that directory. We were really disappointed to some degree in what we saw out there in the ecosystem for finding Black businesses through the directories. One is either because information was stale or static or was managed by one person, and it's just there's not sustainable to have one person trying to touch 2.6 million Black businesses, or there's the wrong incentives, right? I'm here to make financial gain on Black businesses rather than trying to help Black businesses get that financial gain. And sometimes it was also the case that these directories, they were so cookie cutter. There was not nuance for how your business was built or designed or for you. And so I think as well, we really recognized that it had to be something that was built end to end with Black businesses at the center of the conversation, not as a trying to sort of fit a sort of round peg in a square hole or something like that. We really felt like, okay, what does it mean to build for Black janitorial companies and Black bakeries and Black vineyards, recognizing that they have different needs and that chambers support all of those. And so it's a big umbrella intent that you sort of have to think through. And we felt like just being able to show you where a Black business was in the country is actually not that productive, because a lot of Black businesses don't have physical locations. They don't need to have physical locations. And so what does it mean to show and provide dignity to a Black-owned business, regardless of how they do business? And so that's something that we really wanted to think through, and we are super methodical about as we go forward in the upcoming year. So you'll see, like today, you can onboard your business right now at Buy Black. We ask questions like, how do people buy your products or services? Do they buy them online, in person, through other vendors, bids and contracts? That's something that is particular to how business is done for you. And we ask questions like, what is your area of service, right? So do you service regionally? So maybe like state to state, locally, as in, hey, I service these cities within a state, or nationally, hey, my products can get anywhere. I truly am a presence and a force in any place. Those are things that come from us being able to build for Black-owned businesses, however they do business, and for a more modern economy of Black business. And then the last thing I'll say is, what is really cool is we've seen so many different types of businesses take advantage. We've got some of the largest businesses in Texas, a part of our certification. We've also got businesses like Issa Rae, Insecure, and she got certified as a Black-owned business. And she uses that to be able to talk about and advertise, hey, my hair care products are Black-owned, right? And so you don't need to be just a company that is trying to get a contract with Northrop Grumman or AT&T or American Express. Like, that is also just as valuable, and we are working to support those. But if you want to be able to say, hey, I am unapologetically Black, and here's a product that I sell and means something, there are folks that, just like you, that are also getting certified. We've got therapists, that got their own practices that want to be able to tell people, no. Some people say they're Black, I can prove it. And I think that's something that we are really proud to be able to sort of, for the first time, you're not a minority business, you are a Black-owned business. And I think that's something that we want to really be able to celebrate. I see a couple more questions, and I just want to make sure I look at these. I see, I'm in the marketing space with ACN, a direct seller of essential services. As an independent business owner, do I qualify for certification? I think that's going to really depend on some elements of, do you have the right documentation? We have an FAQ on certification.buyblack.us. You can go to the FAQ and see sort of how you qualify. Do you have the right documents? I.e., it's really going to be based on, like, are you an LLC, C Corp, S Corp, single member? And based on those, we really do have different documents for those businesses, because we really try to be sensitive to how your business is different than other businesses. If you're an S Corp, you probably got stocks, you got different business owners, you got different folks that own different equity. That's going to require different things. We're going to want to see your board minutes. If you're someone who has a single member LLC and you started your business 4 years ago or 2 years ago, whatever that is, and you've got your resume, you've got your articles of incorporation, your tax filings, etc. There are probably like one or two other things you need to provide there. You're probably good to go. But I would check our FAQ to see, do you qualify for the certification? But even if you don't qualify for certification, you can still onboard your business at buyblack.us. Certification is for businesses that are 51% owned by a Black person, Black individuals, right? You could, me, my mom, and my uncle and Charles equal up to 51%. And that's fine. You can still onboard your business at buyblack.us and still have a listing, even if you are not certified and even if you are not majority Black owned, right? If you've got you and your Asian father and your, white wife, whatever, and ultimately it all equals out to 33%, you can still talk about your Black business, because even though it is not 100% Black owned or a majority percent Black owned, it is still a Black business that we want to be able to talk about. We just may not be able to give that specific badge of approval to. And you can still onboard your business. We will still put you up there. You'll just have different functionalities that we're looking to build out for different businesses. And I just want to make sure that I get to the last one I see. Agencies want to do business with Black businesses, but can only get credit if the vendors are certified with TX CPA. I hope the Buy Black certification does start to talk with the CPA database. I'm not super familiar with this. And so I think that's actually, I really want to be super clear. This is exactly the power and the value of having local and really powerful chamber of commerce. Like, I'm not always going to know the super details of like how Texas thinks about this. Charles is nodding his head, so I want to really pivot back to him. But I think that's why it's really great to have that relationship and work with these local chambers, because then it helps me understand, hey, this is what we need to prove to these organizations what they need. So Charles, feel free to give any thoughts you have.
Yeah. In fact, I did not see that question come through, but that was what I was attempting to address earlier. We are in conversations with Texas legislators attempting to get the Buy Black certification, the reciprocity, the same that it's extended to National Minority Supplier Development Council's certification. So that's an ongoing process, and it's early in the process. Clearly, Texas is a bizarre state. We, on a whole bunch of levels, our legislature only meets every other year in odd numbered years. It just completed a marathon legislative session this year. So sometime in the interim between now and next session in 2023, we hope to have this already put to bed. But if we can get it inserted as an administrative action from the controller's office, then we'll have it done in this very short time, next couple of months or so.
Well, so you see that.
Go ahead.
No, did you see a comment there on the TXCPA? How do we forward on the relationship? I will. This is, once again, you got a great ally in Charles. So like I would say, and I don't want to, the person who messaged me privately on that specific question, I won't, put your email out there and like that, but I would recommend reach out to Charles and the folks from TAC. Like they're amazing advocates. So you have the right, partnership there. So John, I would definitely recommend reaching out.
John Baines is the former chair of our organization, TAC, led the effort to create the Denton Black Chamber of Commerce here in Texas. But John is a stalwart. He will help us as we move through this process as well. Kind of talk about you mentioned it too, the badge. How will you get certified, you get listed onboarded into the directory. Now I can show off and stick my chest out and say I'm a Black business. What's that bug look like on my website?
Yeah, and so I think you've seen the badge, or folks haven't seen the badge. We're happy to do I'm always happy to talk about demos or talk about some of the things that are coming out in the upcoming year. But you will get a badge that you can download and you can put onto your website if you'd like. We also have, when you're certified, there are some buttons you can press kind of at the top that allow you to directly send that to socials. So you can send it directly to your Instagram or your Facebook. And it's really been sweet and humbling to see businesses already say, hey, look, I'm a certified Black business, here's my badge, and they put it on their Instagram and let people know. You can put it on your website, you can put it on your business card or in your email signature as well. But that's completely available to you. And we want you to, it helps build a kind of awareness about it. When you say you're Black owned and you're certified, you're Buy Black certified, that is something that really does move the needle and it sort of gets other people to see it and believe that it's something that other people are adopting. And then as well, today, it's something that over the next probably month, 2 or so, it'll just be something that you kind of have and you can share out. But in 2022, you can look for something closer to February. We will be actually creating very dedicated pages for certified businesses that they will have on Buy Black. You get a chance to talk a little bit more about yourself. That will sort of differentiate you in the listing, so people really know the difference between the folks that say they're Black and the folks that are proving it. And so I think that's also something that you will be able to see as a part of this.
Yeah, Ron, one of the quiet rages, if you will, background chatter during our recent US Buy Black conference in DC a couple of weeks ago was folks sharing contacts with QR codes. So will this platform generate a QR
I mean, that's something we haven't set up yet. And I think what's really great, and I want this to be super clear, is this is built by Black engineers. It's built by, a Black product manager. It's built by, Black chambers of commerce. We even used the word by Black, B-Y-B-L-A-C-K. We thought, should we go by B-U-Y? And we said, no, this is a solution that is built, developed, sponsored, driven by Black business owners, communities, et cetera. And so that's why we call it that. But I will say, like, when I hear things from Charles, or I hear things from John Baines, or I hear things from other folks, and we get these emails and we log feedback that we're hearing from people, it then actually helps us figure out what's the next product, what's the next thing we're working on, what are we building next? And because we are engineering folks, we can say, you know what, this is something that people are really hungry about. And so we do read these emails. People are checking to understand, hey, what's the T, what's the interest, what's the focus, and then that helps actually inform where we're going. So if I'm hearing from Charles, hey, we'd love a QR code to be able to share this. That's super helpful. That's actually very easy to do, right? So those are things that we can think about. Okay, how do we slate that in as a part of the conversation? And so I say to say, like, you can always communicate with us. You can always email us at support at byblack.us, SUPPORT at BYBLACK.us. And we really are available to talk. The question about the videos being available at Chambers, we will have these videos set up and ready to go. It's a private link today, and that's because we set it up really directly for this conversation. And as we go forward, we will do some editing. I want to look better in some of these videos, but we'll make sure that you all get videos like this. And so, Horace, I hear you.
Well, we thank you for that, Ron. In fact, our entire conference this week is being videoed, and it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. And so this conversation that we're having now will be available as well. Perfect. So and you look fine, brother. Don't sweat it, man. But any final thoughts on, as we get toward the end of this session? Final thoughts about the process, number one, and how else we might be able to help you expand this deal.
Yes, please onboard your business. If you are 51% Black-owned, please certify your business. The certification processes of the past cost thousands of dollars. They take months. They are not built around what Black business owners and Black people are worried about and thinking about. They are asking for information that's redundant or not valuable. We offer this for free. We take your opinions and your perspectives, seriously, and we really try to be digitally focused. The site visit, if you've ever done a site visit before, someone is usually going to come to your office. They're going to want to look inside your desk and see how many pens you have and see where your employees meet and try to catch you in a lie about something. The fact that we have done and created a virtual site visit where you will speak to the president of the United States Black Chamber back and forth, where you get to answer some questions. You get your own course in terms of what questions you're going to answer, and it's really tailored to your specific business and structure and things that you can share. That is something that really is different about this. Being able to just provide a selfie and your license to be able to match up you with your other documents is extremely important. We work with the Texas Secretary of State to actually check that you are who you say you are, that your documents are actually up to date, that you are in good standing. And then we don't even have to ask you to provide a good standing document, right? I don't need you to go get that from somebody to prove that to me, because I can do that on our end. So we're using APIs, we're using tools to be really smart. We are trying to remove the friction. I would say tell your favorite Black-owned business to get onboarded. It really does make a difference for us, because the more businesses that we have, it helps us go to more corporate partners and say, hey, look, we need to get money and funding to do this more, so we don't have to charge Black businesses. And so Charles can brag about all the businesses that are in Texas. It really is a sort of a virtuous cycle in that regard.
Man, thanks so much, Ron. Ron Busby Jr., Ron at byblack.us is his email address.
Now y'all have
load him up.
Oh, goodness.
Onboard your business. Ron, thanks for taking time out today on such a short notice. I know I hit you with it real quickly. Tell Alicia we said hello, and we wish we'd been able to see her and let her know that you're not working alone, that you do have an entire team behind you on this effort. We're looking forward for great things. Thank you so much for today.
When Charles says come, you usually show up. So thanks so much.
Thank you.